Alright guys, here we are again on DayOne. DayZ is the game. Welcome to another of my late night streams. So, it's Wednesday night, and yeah, the last 1 or 2 weeks I started to make it a habit that on Tuesday and Wednesday I streamed DayZ, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday I'm gonna stream U-Boat. So all my friends who are big fans of U-Boat, so don't be worried, we are gonna do U-Boat tomorrow, but tonight I am back to my old love, long-term game, playing it since something like 10 years with, yeah, I don't know, something like 2,000 hours, a bit more. DayZ, and one of my two favorite maps, actually DayOne, and also one of my favorite servers. It's the WILDLANDZ service with a very nice loadout. Of mods, pretty much like it, and yeah, we can already hear. Yeah, we are in one of these hunting stores, and we can already hear that we have a hell of bad weather out there. But let me briefly manage the stream so that I can see the chat. Hey, yup, wow. There you are already. Nice to have you in the stream. Good evening, or maybe I should say good afternoon, because I guess you are a few hours behind me probably. So yeah, welcome. How was your day? I guess you didn't hear anything about the results of your exams yesterday yet. So yeah, we hear the rain outside. Can cast one glance out of the window. Wow, pretty bad weather. When I entered the server just a minute ago, it was something like 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, and it looks like it's bucketing down. It's a grey sky, and not very inviting to get out. But let's first briefly check what happened yesterday. Well, at the in the last third of our yesterday's stream, we were assaulted by a zombie which was so tough, so I definitely gave him a headshot. He survived the headshot and launched an attack on us, and I gave him 3, 4, 5, 6 direct hits. He didn't die. Then I emptied the remaining clip of my pistol onto him. I'm missing a few in the heat of the combat, but it was at least 3 or 4 bullets did home in. Then I took out my pump action rifle with slugs and fired all the rounds on him, and at least 3 or 4 of them did hit. And finally I took out my submachine gun, and after a few hits then the zombie finally died. So this is the second time, and I think it was both times in the last 2 weeks on the WILDLANDZ servers that you have this very strong zombies now and then. So if you were a beginner, a freshie, you would have no chance against them. Hey, yep, that's nice. Thank you very much for this wonderful feedback. That's much appreciated. Yeah, and I understood that, yeah, not I understood, I remember that you joined the channel at the weekend while I was streaming U-Boat, and yeah, I promise I will do U-Boat for the next days. So now we got quite a beating actually by the zombie. We finally killed it. Luckily we have a lot of spare ammo, so it's all right. Let's check. We still have the P1 with the full mag, we reloaded it. And we have the BK reloaded. Yeah, the BK is damaged. P1 I think is in good condition. And we have the Scorpion also in good condition, also with full mag. And that's very nice. We have my favorite sniper rifle. We have ammo, but we don't have a mag. But for a sniper rifle, I always say it's perfectly fine without a mag, because a sniper rifle you could just chamber bullet by bullet. So then, equipment wise, the field vest is badly damaged, so we are in dire need of some repair kit. The winter parka is alright, the pants are alright, the backpack also got damaged, helmet is fine, ski mask, all this is fine. Yeah, the gloves need repair, and particularly the shoes need repair. This could give you quite some trouble when your shoes break down and you don't recognize it fast enough. You will get bleeding feet when you run with destroyed or without shoes. That's a bit of a problem. So I'm not quite sure about our level of nutrition. Let's see what happens if I eat the pears, if I get oversaturated. Yeah, as long as I have the 3 arrows up, it means that the nutrition is still entering my body. At one point, when you're completely full, that arrows will start to kind of flip between up and down. Yeah, okay, there we are. This is exactly, come on, now it doesn't matter anymore. But this is now indicating that we are completely full, and anything we eat now is a waste. Oh, hey, by the way, sorry guys. I still have my starting screen. So, here we are. Hopefully. Let's see, does it work? Yes, alright. So guys, welcome. By now there are a few people in the stream. That's very nice. Great to have you in, guys. It's a pleasure. Okay, let's see that also on. Yeah, alright. Yeah, great to have you in. Oh, any sounds? No, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, yep. I'm always very thankful for these kind of hints. I mean, as a streamer, it sometimes might be that you kind of mess up your settings and everything, and just don't recognize it by yourself, and then it's always very, very nice to get the feedback from the watchers. So let's get out. Now, gonna be a bit tricky to orient ourselves. Where would we go? Do I cast a shadow? No, not here. Do I have any idea where the sun is? Oh, there was some weird noise which gives me a bit of the creeps. I do have a compass still, so let's check it. This is north, and that's where I want to go. Yeah, by now my blood level is back to yellow. And it was completely down red. It was not blinking actually, but it was red. And my health level is up to white again. So all that was pretty down after my nice little encounter with this mega super zombie. Now this is north, this is where I want to go. But yeah, I want to check these buildings because I need some means to repair my equipment, or maybe just swap my equipment to better stuff. And yeah, usually you don't find much in these buildings, but at least now and then you do find useful stuff. And although in total, yeah, in terms of guns, I'm fine. Quite a few good guns, but ammo is alright as well. But yeah, look at my gear. I need something to repair my gear. Yes. At one point, the developers, I think they had on their roadmap to make fridges to be opened. I am relatively sure that they once had that in their list, in their to-do list, but well. To me, the game is fine, and of course the community is speculating about whether there's gonna be a DayZ 2 when, based on Arma Reforger maybe. The graphics of Arma Reforger are really amazingly better. I mean, even better than the ones that we have here, and with Arma 2, Arma 3. And the game concepts are also great, so I would love to get a part 2 of DayZ based on Arma Reforger. Yeah, there are mods, DayZ mods on Arma Reforger, but they are so basic. They're, at least for me, they are not much fun to play. So there are no match if you compare it to the very first Arma mod, DayZ. That was better, I think. Well, it's hard to compare because the game has developed so much further since then. And back then the expectations were of course much lower. Yeah, I'm not quite sure when you went out. Yep. Have you been still in when this mega zombie attacked me? Where I had to dump in a lot of ammo into that guy before it finally died. So I'm not quite sure when you actually quit, if you did quit before I ran into that mega zombie or afterwards. Yeah, okay, so maybe that would be fun to watch it in the video. That was all actually. That was the encounter and action that I had. And yeah, survived it, but just barely. And with quite a few bruises. And a bit of a damage to my gear. Oh, well, I wish I would find a zooming kit. Hey, come on, these best viewers, guys. Well, that's a police car, isn't it? I actually did change the level of sound, so when I watched my own video from yesterday, my impression was that the game sounds were a little bit low. So I tuned up just slightly by roughly 1 dB. I tuned up the sound level of the in-game sounds in comparison to my voice. And yeah, so would be curious if from your point of view it's better or worse, or if it just doesn't make any difference, which I could imagine that it wouldn't make any difference because I just carefully tuned it up a little bit. Oh, what's that? Whatever that is, Russian Navy. Okay, one of these shirts. But no, not for me at the moment. But well, if I find clothing which is in fairly okayish condition, let's pick it up. Maybe sooner or later I would like to craft some rags. I still have that. Yeah, craft some rags just in case that my shoes might actually break, get completely destroyed. Then I would like to have a few rags to craft improvised shoes out of them. Of course I do have rags, but these rags are disinfected and it would be a bit of a waste of resources if I would use them. For crafting improvised stuff. Let's check this. These are the new buildings, and usually there is not much loot there. Oh, this one. I think this one was there already yesterday, wasn't it? Not quite sure what of. I think I did check it. Yeah, let's check the police car. There is keys. That's keys for for the handcuffs. Hey, come on, we don't need that. I think that it does make too much sense to repeat scanning all these buildings. I did that yesterday. Let's check this one and then continue our way north. Yeah, this one was lying there yesterday already, I remember. So if you don't take away the loot, nothing would change. So the game is actually very persistent since long, which means loot only respawns in the spawn positions when actually somebody takes away what is there. I'm a bit surprised that I don't run into any zombie. Yeah, I'm playing on DayOne on one of the Wildland servers, WILDLANDZ with a Z in the end. I like these servers since a long time. Yeah, in the past they were even tougher because when you were fighting zombies on these servers there was this kind of function that there was a probability that you get infected with some very bad disease which killed you within something like 45 minutes, I would say. You could have crafted an antidote on that, but yeah, that was pretty hard to do, and usually you wouldn't have the equipment to do it. So anything here? Nope. But now the question is where to go. There is this lake. Let's check the compass. Yeah, our mission for today shall be to reach the town in the very north. So this is north. And I want to check. I want to the northwest. I want to get to the northwest of the island. Yeah, yep. I also do YouTube in parallel, yep. Since something like 3 weeks, I figured out how to do a double stream, like one to the parallel streaming, one to good old Twitch, and yeah, just in parallel I can also address it to my YouTube channel. And that's what I do. Yeah, to be honest, the community on YouTube is not as chatty as the community of Twitch. So I mean chatty in a positive way, because I pretty much like having a chat with the stream. That's actually one of the main reasons why I love to do streaming, because I love to get in contact with people all over the world with that. And yeah, nevertheless, also already on YouTube I had quite some nice contacts, so I always would like to encourage all of you guys who are in the stream to make yourself noticeable in the chat. Just give me a high thumbs up or any comment if you like it. If you don't like it, everything is fine and welcome. Is this one of these military buildings? To be honest, I'm a bit confused, and I don't like to walk in these high grasses here, and my fear is that over there I'm going to run into military zombies, because these towers are military installations. But yeah, no risk, no fun. Okay, yeah, that's the place actually. So over there is the build. Somewhere here is the place where I got beaten by that hardcore zombie. Maybe it even was on that building up there. So now the question is, do I really want to go there again and take that risk? Nah, these boats you can't make move. The only boats that you can actually use are the Zodiacs. You can't get there, so I think I will take a wide berth around this military installation, because I really don't. I mean, if I ran into one of these hardcore zombies there, I think probability is high that meanwhile he has respawned. But I don't know the mechanisms. If, like, you have certain positions and you always get a hardcore zombie there, or if it is more a matter of probability while spawning. Once more, the compass. So this is probably, yeah, west. So let's get up onto that hill and check if we can see the sea. See the sea from there. Yeah, we are getting cold. No surprise, because our clothing is getting soaked by now. And also one of these nice little realistic features of the game, when your clothing gets wet, the protection from cold is reduced. I don't know. Yeah, you hear me shivering. Yeah, so this nice combination of all these informations that you get on, yeah. The only channel that you don't get any information towards is your nose, actually. Let's get up there and see if we see the sea. So you see our shadow being cast right in front of us. That's because it's early morning, so the sun is just rising in the east, and we are walking towards the west. Alright, nice overview at least. Interesting. That's interesting. Probably I have to get over there. Maybe this here is just a kind of peninsula. Yeah, but if it is, I'm gonna check it out. Going to the west, hey. That's the swamp. I have been here. Yeah, haven't I? Not quite sure. Maybe that was a previous. I think that was my last live. I ran into a heli crash here. Right down there it was, I think. So let's see if we can pass the swamp on its eastern side. Really don't want to get into the swamp. I'm not quite sure, but I have the feeling that all in the swamp there is all over the place evil, badass military zombies spawning. I don't want to get into that, so let's see if we can walk around the swamp on the right side from our point of view here. That's all swamp area. Yeah, it would be nice if we could refill our bottle. We still have something to drink. We still have the water in the canteen. So talking about that, let's have a bit of a drink. So it wouldn't be wrong to fill up our hydration symbol to the full. Yeah, that's nice. We found that hip pack, and the hip pack has 6 inventory slots and also one kind of hook where you can attach the canteen. Let's see if we can actually pass. Outside of the walls of this installation there, and then head north without running into militaries. So in the last weeks I ran into 2 of these hardcore zombies which just wouldn't die. Or actually finally they did die, but took a hell of a ammo you had to dump into them. And both of them were militaries. And I'd been running into loads of non-military zombies over the time, over the last weeks, and none of them was hardcore. And I ran only into a few military zombies, and 2 of them were hardcore. So at the moment I would assume that these hardcore zombies you only get from military guys. And yeah, it's not that low probability to get them, to run into them. There was some truck up there in the bushes. I'm curious, let's check it. Or was I just mistaking a stone for a truck? Ah, that's drivable. That's a drivable truck. Wow. Okay, anything? Oh, no, it hasn't loaded anything. It doesn't have a battery. And what about the engine? Don't know, would you need... Yeah, tires are missing. What is this? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, okay, alright. But at least if this, you know, you could repair that one. But playing on your own, it's like base building. When you're playing on a lone wolf basis like I do, base building doesn't make much sense because it's just too much of a grind, and same for repairing cars. This is for when you play in a team of something like 3 or more guys, then that's fine. Yeah, by the way, just saw a few more people dropping in, not by names, can't see your names, but I saw the number going up actually, so always happy to have a few people more in the stream, in the chat. But yeah, don't feel observed, don't feel pushed, but let me mention that I'm always happy to get some feedback in the chat. If it's just a hi or thumbs up or some comment feedback, I'm always curious. If you are playing the game by yourself or just watching streams, what your experience is, and if you like my style of gameplay, or maybe you have tips and tricks what you could do better. Here the P code. I have the winter parka, and that's fine. You can't tear the P code to rags, by the way. You still can't. Pipe, well, that would just take more inventory slots and reduce my agility even more. So I'm just sticking to the brass knuckles. Yeah, also these sounds of the water, waves, Oh, there is another, but not quite sure. Did I already check that? I mean, I'm wet anyway, so why not having a little swim and check that zodiac out, whether we can make it run all the zodiacs up to now on this. In the last 2 or 3 streams I ran into something like 4 or 5 zodiacs, and they all were missing the spark plug. In this live here, but it was something like, I think 4 streams ago, I ran into a zodiac which actually had a spark plug and also had a bit of fuel in it. But it seems to be pretty low probability that they actually spawn with fuel as well as spark plug. Yeah, okay, some guys might be disappointed because they might expect me to stream U-Boat, but rest assured that tomorrow and the next days I am doing U-Boat again. So I think that was my schedule now for the last, say, 2 weeks. Like Thursday, Friday, Saturday night was U-Boat nights, and if I had the opportunity to stream on the other days, I did DayZ. So there is a heli. That's a little bit, yeah, worrying when you're out here in the water, having no any protection. Let's see if we can get onto the... Let's see. Must be somewhere there. It sounds pretty close. There it comes. Is it US? Yeah. It's a US heli. Yeah, this is a feature here on the on this server. So these are not players. This is kind of an event, and this heli will eventually crash somewhere. And will create a heli crash. This is how the heli crash on these servers, on the WILDLANDZ servers, actually spawn. There it goes down. So it must be somewhere there. Pretty much like it. This is pretty atmospheric, I would say. So somewhere there. The direction from here is a little bit westerly to north. Yep. All right. Now let's check the rubber boat, the Zodiac. Again, no spark plug. Okay. All right. So how do we get out? Keep F pressed again. And let's get back to the shore. Yeah, swimming is always a bit of a tiresome thing. A bit boring, but yeah, well, that game is about getting across long distances. I remember some people having called DayZ a hiking simulator, which I quite like. Yeah, maybe that's why I love DayZ so much from the very beginning, because over all the years I spent a lot of holidays hiking in the countryside with tent with me and a cooker and food with me and just pitching the tent in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, DayZ giving me pretty much of that feeling. There's our shadow on the seabed. And now we should be back on shore. Yeah, if I would find a spark plug, I would keep it. By now we have enough inventory slots, so that would be pretty comfortable. By the way, the weather has considerably improved. If you remember what the weather was when we spawned, early morning, completely grey sky, and the sun is up now, and the sun has driven away the clouds. So, oh shit, getting a cold. So now I was running around with wet cloths for too long, so I'm gonna start to sneeze. Let's ring our gear. Yeah, if we get our body temperature back to white, the cold would go away by itself without medication. When all your stats are white, you regain from a cold without any medicals. But it takes a while. You have to stay all your stats to white for quite a while. Maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes or something. Let's see, maybe we have vitamin tablets. If you have 1 or 2 vitamin tablets in a row, this would also remove the cold. You see, this one we have to ring 3 times because this woolen gear is completely soaked, while the winter parka and the hunter pants are made out of some water resistant fabric. Let's see, what do we have? Yeah, we even do have vitamin tablets, so let's do the easy way and just have a vitamin tablet. So now we have to keep an eye onto that pill symbol on the bottom right, because as soon as it is removed we probably have to throw in another pill. 2 of them should be enough to get rid of the cold. Now I'm curious whether I am on the right side of that lake. Yeah, we had a map, but on spawning yesterday, right in the beginning of the stream, I spawned and had some bug was kind of stealing the map away, so I was kicked from the server, which happens very, very seldomly, so everything around DayZ works pretty stable, at least on the machines that I had over the years playing it. It's just kind of exploration, so the map is so vast, and I never really ever did exploration on that very north town. So in principle I'm just curious to get there and do a little bit of looting and see what we get and see in detail how the city looks like. I went there, so I had eyes on that northern city, but somehow I never continued playing so far. that I actually went into that town. Or, well, one reason because I kind of, didn't finally finish the game, or I was killed, more like that. But a few times I actually managed the way up there, but I never continued the game so far as to really do some exploration of that northern town. And that's something that I would love to do right now. So this is probably a fjord and no lake, pretty sure. Yeah, we don't have the option to drink it, so it's seawater and no fresh water. And yeah, also for fresh water, like lakes or rivers, you get the option to drink it, but you shouldn't, because you get sick if you drink the water right out of the rivers. Yeah, which from real life is not quite realistic, because on all those many hiking tours that I did in the past, in Scotland, in Norway, in wherever, on Corsica, Sweden, we always drank the water out of the rivers. Or of these little creeks. And that's perfectly fine, and you couldn't do hiking in nature if you wouldn't just take the water out of the rivers. And yeah, we never cooked it or used kind of disinfectant pills or something. So I fear I actually do have to do a little swim again to cross that river. By the way, I would be curious if this would be fresh water. Probably not. By the way, now let's first wring our gear again, because we have, of course, completely wet again by now. Yeah, beautiful, right? The reflection of the sun in the water. Yeah, now and then. And I really love this kind of, hiking in areas where you really don't have. Okay, so this one was keeping dry because I was just swimming, alright. Anything else that I can wring? Nope, not at the moment. And there we are, you see that the pill symbol has vanished. So let's, by the way, see also the virus symbol has vanished as well. So the one pill was sufficient to get rid of the cold. I think if you cure it right away, you get rid of it faster. And the longer you have it, the heavier it becomes, and finally it really becomes an outrageous flu. Influenza, and maybe then you need more than just one of these vitamin pills. You could also take antibiotics, which I also do have with me, but I prefer to take the vitamin pills because the antibiotics you might need to cure something tougher, like a blood poisoning or something. What is this? Just a stone, right? Yeah. Compass. Yeah, I'm going north, and that's what I want to do. Yeah, my first hiking trips I did with several friends. So my very first this kind of hardcore hiking trip was to Norway with a friend, and then with another friend to Scotland, and with that same friend to Corsica. Yeah, Corsica is a relatively small island, and it must be, yeah, completely overcrowded with hiking tourists in the summer, but we went there just in March, and at that time there was still snow and ice in the higher areas of the island, which turned out to be a bit of a problem, so we could not actually get up to the high ridges because there was ice and we didn't have the proper equipment to travel there safely. But still in the valleys it was fine. So that was this one, Corsica, and well, luckily my wife also likes these kind of holidays, and so we did some beautiful stuff as well. So for example, once we went to the Shetland Islands, which was great, and just last year we went to Ireland, to this northwestern part of Ireland. Well, it's still part of the Republic of Ireland, and did some hiking there. And yeah, I know that there is wonderful areas in the US and in Canada as well. It's just so much of an effort to get there. Okay, zombie. Maybe let's get up and see what we have up here. Actually, an uncle of my wife lives in Canada, so it would be great to pay him a visit. We never did yet, but yeah, it's always this kind of an effort, and job-wise I often can't take longer holidays than 2 weeks in a row, and so it is tricky. Yeah, you wouldn't go for the US or Canada just for 2 weeks. Oh, I hate military zombies by now. And there is one up there. So come on, guy. But this one looks pretty ordinary. Yeah, come for me. Fingers crossed that this is not one of these super tough zombies. 1, 2. Oh, nice. That's very good. And some ammo for a Mosin. Damage, so I can put them together. Let's just get to the other side. Down here. That guy seems to have a vest, so if I would kill him... Oh, come on. Is this one such asshole zombie? He looks... One. Oh fuck, what was that? He had some kind of a SWAT jacket. So I'm sure that this is one of the hardcore zombies. The good thing is that usually they leave you alone when you faint. Let's see if I can maybe sneak away from them. I'm really not eager to. Oh shit, I lost my... I did lose... Oh shit. I did lose the brass knuckles. I did lose the brass knuckles. When you faint, you drop onto the floor what you do have in your hand. But it should be lying right there where you are. But it isn't. It's not somewhere here on the floor. So shit. The field vest got ruined. Yeah, come on. That's it. That's it. Yeah, if I take off the field vest now, I couldn't put it on again. Oh yes, okay, so to get to the north. Oh, what's that? Oh shit, yes, no. My hiking boots are ruined just as well. Oh, come on, now things are gonna get tough. I have to... no, yeah. Let's use the disinfected rags to bandage our bleeding feet. And then, yeah, we have these rags. Let's craft some improvised feet wrappings out of it. Oh, come on. I'm a bit in trouble by now. And no other way than getting up there to get to the other side. Okay, let's see if we can sneak up there without being recognized by these tough zombies. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the one is a tough one. The other one is probably just an ordinary zombie, but that one with the SWAT jacket. He is probably a problem. So guys, fingers crossed that we can get out of this decently. The bushes are rustling. They might give away my position to any zombie around. So is this. Okay, the vest is ruined because I shot at it, of course. Okay, there is this other zombie, and he Probably he was attracted by me shooting. Let's see if we get away without him following us at the moment. It looks good. Let's just check whether there is anything useful here to loot. Okay, something that I can turn into rags later. That's good. So it looks like we can actually get on here. We have to swim. Yeah. Wow. Okay, a head, but yeah, I prefer my enduro helmet actually. Okay, I don't get on here. Alright, let's just hope that there is not any hardcore zombies waiting on us for us on the other side. Oh, we really need equipment. There is some buildings, civilian buildings, so let's go and see if we can get something useful there. Maybe I first turn to the right. By the way, our blood level is wide and full again, not 100%. Still needs a little bit of regaining, but almost full. Same for health. The winter parka is damaged. Oh shit. The shoes are ruined again. So what can I do? Could I repair them? No. Oh, that's fast. That's pretty fast, how fast they do get ruined. So I am in trouble. Without shoes. Fingers crossed that I find some shoes in one of these buildings. So do I have any other, well, what about, hey guy, oh shit, it's another one of these hardcore guys, is he? Fuck. guys, I do have a jam, a gun jam. Oh shit, there is a bear. There is a bear. There is a bear as well. Hey guys. Come on. A hardcore zombie. I fired how many? 5 rounds, and I think they were all a hit. 5 slugs on closest distance from the pump gun. And then a bear. Great. And a bear. So I don't know, am I bleeding? Yes. And the bear is still there. First I have to bandage. Oh, come on! Is it now 2 of these fuckers? I shouldn't have said that. And the bear is coming up again. Of course, with firing all these rounds, the bear was attracted to me again and gave me the rest. Alright, very nice adventure, I would say. Very nice adventure. Yeah. So the question is what to do now. Restart on this same server. Or maybe do something on another server. Yeah, that's the game actually. So we were pretty well equipped. And we had food, we had decent guns. But these zombies, I think they are not on vanilla. I think these hardcore zombies are some special feature of the WILDLANDZ server. And I would have also killed that one, but not with the bear. So let's briefly check the DayZ launcher. That's another reason to keep away from military areas. Yeah, let's see what would make sense. We could also go onto the DayOne server and do some classical Chernarus run. That server is relatively crowded. Yeah, I think I would like to do that. So, despite the name of the shall we change the name briefly? Let's change the name. So later Chernarus. That's what we are gonna do. Okay, now I'm gonna start another game. Let me briefly put you onto this screen here. And let's see that we are gonna do the DayOne. Oh shit. What did I do here? No. Okay, I'm not that familiar with streaming on YouTube, so I have to briefly adjust something here. And let's hope that it's going to work like that. Yeah, looks good. And now, give me that little moment. So we are gonna exit this one. Oh yeah, this was one great example of how DayZ actually works and how fast you can actually get to an end with your life, although everything looked so perfect. So now we are going to the DayOne Chernarus server. That's pretty crowded. It's more than 50 people on it, and it's 6:30 in the morning on the server. Let's hope that we get onto the server without problems. Sometimes there is a bit of a hiccup. The ping is relatively high with 100. Usually I have a higher ping to US or Canadian servers. I'm never quite sure. This DayOne server, whether it's US or Canadian, I don't know. But it looks good. By the way, let me be AFK just for 1 minute and get me a glass of water. So the question now is, shall we continue with the life that we have on that server? Or shall we start something completely new? I think I'm gonna shoot myself, and yeah. If I have around, yeah, I have a Mosin. Yeah, by the way, I can share my screen again, right? Let me show you what I do. And get back to the scene. Yeah, okay, it's working. Very good. So here we are, back in the business, and I think at the moment I would like to start from the scratch. Probably I don't have any ammo for that pistol. And come on, let's kill ourselves and start anew. Yeah, I feel in the mood to respawn custom. And there we are. New life, new luck. You respawn with a map. That's interesting. If you ask me, I would prefer to be spawning not with a map, but with food. So I've been playing on that server just a few days ago. I would say, yeah, 7 days ago actually it was written down there. But back then I think I didn't spawn with the map. Let's get that clothing. If we later find a knife, we could craft some rags out of it. The point is that this place is probably thoroughly looted because it's a very common spawn place at the coast. And yeah, the server is, as I said, relatively crowded. On the other hand, my experience is from the last few weeks that loot is relatively, high abundance, let me put it like that. You have lots of loot in comparison to the server that we were just playing on. The Wildlands servers have very few loot, and this one here has much more. That was at least my impression when I played the server. And as I said before, I haven't been playing the game too much generally in the past, so things change, things are quite dynamic, and so I might not be completely up to date. But this gut feeling that you have quite a lot of loot on this Zero server, that was, from recent experience. There is something. Okay, always nice to have a fishing rod. Let's take it. Now this Chernarus, that's the map that was originally created for Arma 2 and then utilized by Dane Rocket Hall, this New Zealand guy who actually did the mod. Nice, that's already the very beginning, finding this nice Ushanka, giving us at least a warm head. There's a zombie over there. Have to be careful, two of them. Never want to be attacked by more than one zombie at a time. Definitely not by 3 at a time. At that point, this is of no use. I never actually pick up gas lamps. Nice. AP1, is it? No ammo, but still. Shoes, nah, I prefer my athletic shoes. Yeah, that last stream, I pretty much liked it. It really drove us to the edge. And finally, having this attack, fighting one hardcore zombie, one ordinary zombie, and the bear then approaching at the same time. that was our death then. By the way, I see a few more people are dropping into the stream. Don't know who you are, I just see the number going up, so great to have you. And yeah, don't feel pushed. It's perfectly fine if you just watch and learn, but of course I'm always happy to get some feedback, get a hi, get a thumbs up in the stream by you, dear watchers. Yeah, we just finished a run on DayOne, and yeah, we were finally killed by a hardcore zombie, which we could have handled finally, but the hardcore zombie was finally supported by a bear, which was attracted by our constant gunfire on that hardcore zombie. Okay, we don't need that. And the bear finally killed us. We definitely could have handled the zombie on its own. We had enough ammo to pump it into that guy, but yeah, the bear was just, yeah, the bears there doing this kind of, yeah, approaching you, running into you. And if a bear runs into you 2 times or 3 times, you're dead. Okay. He's got a pouch. That's good. Yeah, come for me, guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. And thank you very much for your nice little pouch. That's just great to have. What I need by now is better clothing, because I'm still cold if you once really catch a cold, you are in trouble. So let's take this one and let this one be our melee weapon, the meat tenderizer. That is a funny weapon, isn't it? Oh, nice. Let's get that. It's a pristine hunting scope. And a backpack. Can I put it on and at the same time? No. So I think I'm gonna stick to the canvas bag. Quite like it. Fashion-wise, I like it. Oh, nice. At least we found some Zagorski bar to eat. Yeah, the potato we can't eat at the moment. Yeah, so may I ask roughly where you do come from? So as for me, I am living in the Frankfurt area in Germany. So that's not very rural. Yeah, they do it pretty nicely, I think. Yep. What is this? I do already have a good hat. So let's carry on along the shoreline. Oh, nice. And, oh, great, a hip pack as well. That's nice. Let's have it. But still, I'm still blue, I'm still cold. Yeah, that countryside that's modeled around here, it's like Northern Europe, or I think also the northern part of the USA, or parts of it. And this is why I love this game so much. I guess this is why I can play that for that many hours and hours. Because, yeah, all the countryside pretty much resembles how it could be around at my home. So here in Germany we have areas which would look pretty much like that. And this is why you can really identify with this survival situation, because it feels like, yeah, it could be just around here. Ah, Wisconsin, nice. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I mean, I well understand that. So that's like, for me, I also just say I'm from the Frankfurt area. Actually, I'm living something like 40 kilometers west of Frankfurt. But yeah, just roughly. So I think it's pretty important to keep a bit of a privacy in the internet and don't tell anything. So it's pretty smart to just stick to, like, say, I live in Wisconsin. Yeah. I'm just checking it. To be honest, I'm never 100% sure, but I think Wisconsin is somewhere in the north, middle north, or middle northwest or something, isn't it? I hope I'm not embarrassing myself now by being completely wrong. Ah, okay, yeah, it's more to the east. Ah, right, I wasn't aware of that. So it's close to the lakes. Milwaukee. All right. Yeah, that's always a bit embarrassing that I'm not very firm in the US geography. Sorry for that, guys. So my guess would be that there are pretty rural areas in Wisconsin, but there's also, yeah, big towns. I mean, towards the lakes, I would expect that there are quite some large towns, aren't there? I mean, Milwaukee, for example. I don't know, how many inhabitants do you have in Milwaukee, for example? I would expect it to be a pretty large town, probably larger than, for example, Frankfurt here in Germany. School bag again. Yeah, this game could end pretty quickly because there should be running around a lot of people here. The server is relatively crowded. What about the jeans? Hiking pants. Let's swap them. Somehow I have the feeling that these jeans with knee pads might be better. This one is low insulation, this one is high insulation. Yeah, nice. Good choice. But let's keep these trousers so that maybe later we might be lucky and find some knives to cut it to rags. Helmet, nah, I don't. The helmet, motorbiker helmet, gives you pretty good heat protection and also pretty good protection from melee damage, but nevertheless I don't quite like it because it mutes your voice so that you really can't communicate with other players well. Hey, come on, please let me pristine suit pants now. Let's not pick them up. Sooner or later I'm getting short on inventory slots. I'm still cold. I'm still cold. Let's take the back door. A P1 mag, that's very nice because I just found a P1 and a lighter, which is also very good. So come on. A wonderful animation, isn't it? So now we have a P1 with 2 rounds. zombie somewhere out there, so let's take the back door again. Oops. Hey guys, plenty of people in the stream by now. I mean, I'm just a small streamer. If I have something like 10 people in the stream, that's great for me. So, please don't hesitate to put your comments into the chat. Always glad for a little small talk. Oh, nice. Some more stuff to eat. Yeah, but I'm still freezing. That's still the issue. Can I get upstairs here? No, I can't. Yeah, right. Hey, that's it. That's so fascinating. Like, there is an ocean between us, and we can just communicate like this. Ah, nice. So, that's maybe not the best camo, but I really need the heat protection and the inventory slots. Yeah, take the back door again. Ah, nice. Something to eat here. Hey, if there is one plum, there needs to be a second one. If there is not a second one, that means that somebody has been looting here recently. And yeah, all the doors being ajar, I'm pretty sure that somebody has been around here. Or was it me? Yeah, okay, no, I was running in circles, and this is just the place where I had been before. So, sorry guys, I have to be AFK just for a human need for 1 minute. Let's hope that nobody is approaching us while then. Be back in a minute. Alright, back again. And we are still alive. And you're still there, so thanks for your patience. Yeah, the situation, we are still yellow in terms of hydration, still yellow in terms of food, still blue in terms of temperature. So let's have the pair. The pairs usually spawn in pairs. So it's pretty weird that we only found one. Might be that one spawns alright and one spawns rotten or something like that, but to find only one usually means that somebody has been around. That's the sea. Pretty sure that we checked this one as well. A zombie locked in there. Interesting. That usually only happens because players lure the zombies in and lock the doors. So we find some more food. That's good. Zombie over there. Let's see if we can get away from it without being recognized. Don't have a decent knife. P3, the good old P3, P1, sorry. It was the G3 that was the assault rifle, and the P1 being the pistol. That was a decent gun, and also in the game it's a decent gun with quite a bit of firepower. 9mm. I would say it's kind of an average gun. Other guns like the the Makarov, I think it originally was. Makarov is really a pea shooter with the 380 rounds. Few zombies up there. Do I want to have them on my tail? Maybe not, so let's do it a bit more sneakily. Pristine, warm. So what do I have here? Let's drop this one and take that one. This would have a better yield. Drop the damaged stuff and hope that sooner or later we might find a knife. By the way, the CR, wow, that's a wonderful gun. That's a wonderful, nice. And so, oh, that's so cool. So now we do have a sniper rifle. Perfect. Very good. Still, we don't have any ammo for it. but nice. But yeah, that's it. That shows that you have relatively high probability of running into good loot on this server, which also means that the guys you meet are relatively well equipped, and yeah, the better equipped people are, the less they are interested in conversation. Good equipped, well equipped people usually start to shoot first and ask questions later. Ooh, what's that? Okay, server restart. It's 2 o'clock. That's just fair. So I'm gonna continue, guys. Still gonna continue. I could afford to play another hour. I could sleep a little bit longer tomorrow. I can do home office tomorrow, which means that it saves me something like an hour of drive by car. To my office, to my job, and so that's quite alright to, yeah. Now it's 2 o'clock around here, so I'm gonna play on until roughly 3 o'clock. That's just alright. So, yep, I think to Wisconsin, what's the time difference? Probably 6 hours. So if I do have 2 o'clock around here, my guess would be that it's something like 8 o'clock in the evening at your place, maybe. Or even earlier, like 7 o'clock. Ah, yeah, 6 o'clock. So, interesting. Hey, so that would mean we actually do have 8 hours of time difference. Yeah. Yeah, and like you said just before, that's so amazing. That's what I love so much about this streaming thing. I mean, I love to play computer games since I was very young. Well, and yeah, sharing these experiences with other people is great, and particularly this conversation that we have here, that's great. So I would love to encourage just any guy in the chat, any viewers, please don't hesitate to put any comments into the chat, or just give me a thumbs up, give me a hi, just to see that you are there. And as I said, I'm so fascinated by these means of communication that we have. Ah, nice. Okay, so is he actually teaching German, or what's the subject that he is doing? And yeah, I mean, there are many people in the US, I think, with German origins. So my question would be, is he actually from Germany, or is he like having a German grandfather or something like that? Ah, science. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, nice. I mean, science, what is it about? Is it like physics, chemistry, combination of that, or more like, I don't know, biology? Okay, all right. Yeah, nice. Yeah. So by now, now that we are off the server, let me just do this little cheating and see. Yeah, people are going back onto the server, and looks like it's still pretty early on the server. It looks like it's still something like only, yeah, 8:45 on the server. You mean like at school? Yeah, we wouldn't have this term like science, but it's like you have these different kind of subjects. You have chemistry, physics, and biology. That's actually the three subjects, I think, which you would summarize under the term of science. Did I forget something? Well, mathematics, it's not science in that way, right? Yeah, in German we would summarize it with the term Naturwissenschaften. So science is Wissenschaften, and then we combine it with Natur, nature. Naturwissenschaften, that's biology, chemistry, and physics, actually. And usually you have to have it in one bucket with mathematics. So shall we see if we get back onto the server? Is a zombie somewhere out there. I would pretty much like to avoid it. Yeah, let's see, maybe I should get onto the other side of that railway dam. Footsteps. Okay, there is a zombie after me. Let's see that we first. Hey, come on. There she is. Hey, come on. And now eat this with the meat tenderizer. Yeah, I was a bit afraid because nice, hey, dried tomato. Was a bit afraid because there is another zombie up there, and I didn't want to run into two zombies at a time. Oh, fuck. Ah, shit, I didn't want to say that word. Some of the guys in my stream, he actually knew or said that you get rated down in on YouTube when you use these kind of words. Sorry, I don't quite know what you mean with that term. You would have to explain it. What do you mean with Pledge of Allegiance? Don't quite understand what you mean by that. The leather duffel bag. Hey, that's much larger, isn't it? Kind of like that one. But I think it's just the same size, is it? But let's pick it up because fashion-wise, I would say it looks cooler. So let's do it like that. This one is pristine, this one is pristine, so it wouldn't make much of a difference, but kind of, I somehow like the appearance of that bag. Okay, that's weird. What is this equipment? All right, let's carry on. Yeah, so Pledge of Allegiance, what do you mean with that? Ah, okay, yeah, now I get it. No, we don't have something like that. We don't have something like that at all. Actually, in Germany, people wouldn't do that because in history, you know, we have had pretty bad experience with something being over nationalist. So these kind of things are definitely not done in Germany because it is kind of, I don't know, I think in other countries I pretty much like to see that people are devoted to their country, but yeah, we Germans, we are a little bit reserved about that. So you would never have something like that in Germany at school. Yeah, we still suffer from what we had back 80 years ago with the Nazis. And so in Germany we still have a little bit of a problem with being something like too proud of our own country. Because back then it was so badly abused. Hey, nice, some more crisps. Yeah, no problem, no problem. I mean, it's perfectly fine that you ask, and I pretty much, this is, yeah, quite nice, and to actually share these kind of experiences. No, perfectly fine. No problem to ask. I mean, I think this is so interesting that you have these kind of. We are so close in terms of culture. The United States and Germany, they are very close, but it's quite interesting to see that there are still quite some differences. And I think it's pretty important and pretty good to understand what these differences are about. Oh shit, by now we are low on drink. So it would be pretty great if we would just by chance run into a well. It's never wrong to ask questions, actually. Hey, come on, I need something to drink by now. I need something to drink. And I'm afraid I would. Oh, nice. 9mm rounds. That's the rounds that we need for the P1. So let's unpack it. And with this we can put the ammo. Oh, by the way, let's have the tomato, but it wouldn't give us any hydration actually. It does give us a bit of hydration, although it's dried. Ah, nice. I completely forgot about the Coke that we had. All right, that's good. And now the P1 mag. Let's take it out and see that we get the rounds in. Nice. Now we have a fully magged up P1. Alright, and we are back to yellow in terms of drink. Thanks to the Coke. I think we found it with one of the zombies that we killed, right? Not quite sure, but I think that was it. It's a bit unstructured what I'm doing here. Just randomly checking these buildings. Problem is you usually don't find good food or drink in these places. Nothing here. Yeah, let's get up and check upstairs. Ah, nice. I think we can use that. Can we? No. I prefer this one. It has the better camo, definitely. So here we are. Nothing. Also nothing lying on the sofa. So let's get up and... yeah, at that point, allow me to be AFK once more for just a minute. Yeah, I think it's pretty good to care about the emotions of other people and kind of try to forecast what they would feel and not feel. And also being a bit cautious and like, well, better be cautious in the communication than insult any other people. That's perfectly fine. Only thing is, just don't trouble yourself with the kind of problems of other people. So, if I might have some kind of neurosis, if that's the right term, due to the German history, it's not your problem, but my problem. But still, it's always a nice thing to kind of, yeah, try to heed these things and not to hurt other people. So it's not like that the Germans are kind of all the time in a bad mood because they all the time say, oh, we did so bad things 80 years ago. It's just like some basic thing that certain things, like being too proud on your own country, this is something like people are a little bit suspicious about. So, yeah, but still, it's okay. Also in Germany, it's okay to be proud of your country. And I think we can be proud of our country, but we just have to, in the back of my mind, always, yeah, we should remember what might happen if people become too proud of themselves and too self-assured. Ah, no. Okay, close all the doors, so I'm on my own. I like the enduro helmets. I'm just not sure whether this is enough heat protection. It's just medium insulation and not high insulation. Well, let's take it. Okay, alright, so I don't quite know what you mean by that. Which term do you mean? Yeah, that's of course, that's a bit of my problem. I'm not a native speaker, so still, I think my English is pretty okayish, but it might still be that now and then I use kind of key terms not in the right way. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, okay, there is a gas canister, but at the moment I really can't bother myself carrying that gas canister around with me. Zombies. The good point is that the zombies won't hear me in the rain. fire station. Pristine, okay, interesting. So let's get up here, and I think there should be a... Okay, there is a police station. This is the fire station. Yeah, come on, let's see. Yes, all right. That's it. Yeah. So since years I love the English language, so I read a lot of books in English. And yeah, job-wise, I also often had the opportunity to actually speak English. I had Dutch customers for years, so I do have a bit of practice, but still now and then I'm missing the correct words, I have to admit. And of course I'm still having that German accent, but that's perfectly fine. In principle, I would love to be able to speak English without you recognizing me to be German, but on the other hand, from the other point of view, I love these accents. I mean, accents are something personal and something which shows where you're coming from and where your roots are originating from. So, in principle, how could that be? Here, in the middle of the woods, one zombie approaching me. Yeah, come. Ah, shit. It's just on this. Give it 1. Give it 2. 3. 4. Hey, come on. Yeah, that's it. Did my gear take any damage? No, it's alright. Hey, I still don't have a knife. Yeah, across Germany people also have pretty strong accents in some parts of Germany. And I also ran into people who were pretty embarrassed by the accents. And, well, I see it in a different way. I think accents are pretty fine. Something very personal, showing where you're from. And 4. I'm a bit surprised that I didn't run into any other player yet, because the server is relatively crowded. Well, I could check it actually. Let me do this little cheating and check how many people are on the server at the moment. 65 out of 80. So in the past, the DayOne servers were completely crowded at that time. So I'm a bit surprised, but that's what you get in... I recognized it the last weeks, that it was alright. And in the past, like when I did play DayZ regularly, something like a year ago, it was like you just couldn't get onto that server and you had a queue of something like 20 minutes to get onto the server. I hope that this is not kind of a trend, that people are not playing DayZ anymore. Yeah, but for us here, it's like, yeah, it's still high probability that we run into someone. If you have 65 people on the server, that's a lot. And I don't know, I thought there was a well somewhere around. Ah, that's great. That's actually what I need. Some cutting tool, a pristine sickle. So let's craft some rags. For example, I don't have any gloves yet. Yeah, I remember at school, I had one classmate, and he really had this kind of countryside. I would even say kind of hillbilly accent. But he was so smart, actually. So he was the best guy in our math course. So at one point we all were going out and visiting him. He was actually having a farm, or his parents did have a farm. And we went out there onto his farm several times because he was the only guy who actually grasped these concepts of math, and he explained it to us. So never judge people just by their accents. I'm 100% with you. Yeah. I'm freezing again. Yeah, because my gear is wet. So let's ring the gear. Let's just be sure that we don't catch the flu. Yeah, all that gear is not pretty water resistant. It's no special fabric. The trousers are just wet as well. Let's ring them. By the way, there are so many people in the stream. I just see it by the numbers, and I'm always glad to get some feedback. So don't feel pushed. Perfectly fine if you just watch. But if you feel inclined, don't hesitate to put any comment into the chat. And yeah, how you feel about the game, how you feel about my particular way of playing it, or, well, just generally. Hello. Yeah, don't feel observed. Sometimes I have the feeling whenever I do this statement, people are like, oh, I don't want to chat, but no, somebody's having eyes on me. But yeah, don't, as I say, don't feel observed. It's perfectly fine if you just watch. It's just me mentioning that getting comments is much appreciated. Now we are approaching the police station, which might be a goal of many survivors, because you have the chance of getting some nice weapons there. Okay, some food. As a Gorski bar, let's have it. Yeah, of course, that makes kind of a difference. Yep. I like that term. Street smartness. Yep. The hip pack. Or maybe this one is... okay, it's damaged, so I won't pick up the damaged hip pack. By the way, could I put this one there? No, I can't. Let's carry on towards the police station, and fingers crossed that we don't run into any bad guys. world. What kind of wonders, or what I find kind of weird, is that we don't run into any zombies around here. Do we have here a stab vest? Warm. Perfect. That's a wonderful loot to find. Anti-stab vest. What do we have here? Some 380 rounds. That's also good. We don't have a proper gun, but we might well find some decent gun. This one. Amlock ammo. The rifle. No. Would I? Yeah, now I do have that wonderful CR hunting rifle without ammo. And I have this one with ammo. So this is now really a tricky thing to judge. This one has, we do have 5 rounds of ammo in this one, but I don't quite like this kind of ammo. It's pretty rare. Ah, shit. Hard decision. Or dropping the... Yeah, maybe... Yeah, come on. Let's drop the fishing rod. Fishing rod is really something. You could do the improvised fishing rod and carrying that fishing rod around with you all the time. There is no point, actually. So, nice. Okay, yeah, that's amazing. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I think there is a lot of nice aspects about streaming. Okay. This gun. No ammo for it. What is it? What is it? 380. Okay. Yeah, we could chamber it. Not much of a point in chambering a submachine gun, I would say. But nevertheless, let's just do it. Okay. 380. So why can't I? I do have 380 APC rounds. And this is a submachine gun for 380 APC rounds. So why can't I chamber that one? That feels a bit buggy, I have to say. Well, let's keep it for now and see if we get rid of the bug. But at the moment... yeah, okay. That is one of these beautiful concepts. You can't chamber a submachine gun. So I don't quite know the term in English. I already discussed it a few days ago. In German we say there is guns which are shooting open and other guns which are shooting closed. So if you have a classical assault rifle, after one shot is fired, the bullet is, by this automatism, the bullet is put into the chamber again. And then you have the pin ready to kind of knocked down onto the bullet to fire it. And for many submachine guns, it's the difference. You have the whole, hey, now I'm really missing the term. In German we say Verschluss. This whole thing that is moving forward and backward. So when you fire, it's kind of pushed backwards, and then a feather, a spring, pushes it forward again. Don't know what that thing is called in English. Yeah, you get the recoil, and from the recoil this piece of thingy is gonna be pushed back, and then there is a spring which pushes it forward again and makes it drag the next bullet out of the magazine and push it into the barrel. And this piece actually, when you have a submachine gun, there are many submachine guns where this is actually just staying open with the coil being loaded, and then when you pull the trigger of these submachine guns, then this whole thingy is just released, and only in the moment when you pull the trigger the bullet is gonna be dragged out of the mag into the barrel and being fired. And so that might be the reason why you could not chamber these submachine guns. That would actually make sense. So I hope that my limited vocabulary might still have been able to kind of transport what I mean. Just missing these kind of particular technical terms of the gun. The slider, would you call it slider? When you fire, you have this piece which goes back and forth again. I don't know. So I would need some ammo, some mag for that one. Let's see if we find it. We still haven't checked all the police stations. There is something nice. This is the mag that we need. Alright, so 4 rounds only in the mag, but yeah. Now we can actually load the mag with the 380 rounds that we have. There we are, nice. Oh, that's great. So it's full auto. Maybe we could just have this one as full auto. Usually with the key X I should switch between full auto and single shot, but I can't, so I could well imagine that maybe this gun is only having full auto. By the way, let me be AFK for 1 more minute. Okay, guys, what did happen? Probably another player was coming in, right? So, what was that about? Guys, could you help me? I guess that probably while I was AFK, another player was entering and did shoot me, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, of course, this is the risk that you run, particularly if you go AFK in a police station. What's the time? Yeah, I think that's a good time now to say goodbye and call it a day. I pretty much liked that one. A flame, yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe that was the lightning from the muzzle. Okay, alright. Yeah, that's kind of a... Never had that for quite a while, but of course, when you get AFK, that's the risk, and I got AFK at a police station, which is pretty highly frequented. The guy didn't try to communicate, obviously, right? So, well, all you guys, thank you very much for watching. And I have to turn in. So wherever you come from, you told me that you have something like 8 hours of time difference, so it's still pretty early at your place, but around here it's approaching 3 o'clock. It's 10 to 3 o'clock, and so for me that's a good time to say good night. We could still check whether there is any cool guy which we could raid. So, have you ever been playing Arc Raiders?
I fucked him up.
Hey, maybe let's go and raid her. She's doing a lot of DayZ, and right now she's playing Arc Raider, which is a game which I'm pretty curious about. So let's do that. Let's do that little raid.
Nice, you got him, you got him. I blame Radler for this.
Echoix is the name of her.
I need to reload.
Oh my god, there's spider monkeys.
Come on, guys, let's give her a raid. So if you don't like it, you could just get out, but let's just get there and see what it's like.
It was 100% because of the Radler, okay? I think I deserve a relive for having to reload so many times.
Okay, right now, there we go.
Instead of saying enjoy our free kid, I said enjoy your free time. Free kid, I said enjoy your free time.
Let's hope that they're not just about to stop that one. Hey, sorry guys, that's a bit weird.
Thank you for the raid. Howdy, howdy, Josh. Thank you for the raid. Howdy, howdy.
I hope so.
Yeah, guys. I don't know if my streams... That was a bit weird. That was a bit weird. So, however, thank you very much, guys. And I'm gonna stop the stream now and